Okay, today we're going to be looking at Chapter 10, Section 3, Reforms under Taft. Again, Taft was Roosevelt's hand-picked guy here. He takes office. Roosevelt kind of felt that he would continue on what Roosevelt had started as one of these progressive politicians. 1908, President Roosevelt threw his support behind William Howard Taft, his Secretary of War. Taft urged Congress to pass the Mann-Elkins Act, extending the ICC to telephone and the telegraph. Taft also approves Congress' creation of a separate Department of Labor to enforce labor laws. Congress passed legislation that established an 8-hour workday for workers under federal government contracts. Taft administration was partly responsible for the adoption of the 16th Amendment, which permitted Congress to authorize a federal income tax on personal income. Now, all these are things that the progressives wanted. Okay, so he starts out doing all this stuff that the progressives want. Okay, and he was kind of set up here for this position. The deal with Taft is, though, Taft was not really a politician. Okay, he was terrible at politics. The positions he had held before were appointed ones that were outside of the limelight. Okay, but Roosevelt, he agreed on a lot of things, so he was Roosevelt's guy, and Roosevelt talked Taft into running. Taft didn't initially want it. It took some coaxing from Roosevelt to get him to do it. And here's a picture of Taft. Taft angers the progressives. Despite the reforms, Taft lost the support of the progressive Republicans after the signing of the Payne-Aldrich tariff. Okay. Now the issue with this tariff is that the issue with this tariff that they didn't like is it put a high tax on imports, which is something that the progressives did not want. In fact, Taft didn't really want it either. Okay, he didn't really want this to pass either. However, he lacked the political skills to be able to block the conservatives and to withstand the pressure from the conservatives for him to sign this bill. So he signed it into law. He could have vetoed it, which is what the progressives wanted, but Taft didn't veto it. And this kind of causes a major division in the party. Progressives also attacked Taft for sabotaging Roosevelt's conservative program or conservation program by firing the Gifford Pinchot for not ceasing to ridicule Taft's Secretary of the Interior, Richard Bollinger. Okay, so again, this is that deterioration between Taft and the progressives, and the conservative end of the Republican Party really starts to cause division in the party during this time period. This also gave Taft one of the more dangerous enemies, Theodore Roosevelt. So Taft kind of loses Roosevelt's support here. And Roosevelt's still a major player in the Republican Party. And what you have is this party ends up warring amongst itself. And this leads to that split in the Republican Party. In the congressional election of 1910, Roosevelt campaigned on behalf of the progressive Republicans who opposed Taft. Roosevelt proposed a program called the New Nationalism Program that primarily hoped to pass laws to protect workers, ensure public health, and regulate business. This proposed program by Roosevelt is what he considers one of the most important programs ever. Okay, he really hangs his hat behind this initiative that he's starting to bring forward. He thinks it's essential to the continuation of the republic. He really gets excited about it, and he can't see anything other than this plan he's come up with. In 1912 election, Roosevelt decided to run again for the presidency, but Taft was chosen to run for the Republican Party. So Roosevelt didn't get the nomination. So what he does is he forms his own party. Okay? The Progressive Party, also known as the Bull Moose Party. Here's a political cartoon depicting the Bull Moose Party. Okay, and it's that third party, and they have Roosevelt kind of depicted as a clown beating on the drum there. Probably not very favorable, this Bull Moose Party, the littlest show on earth, they're calling it. So here again, sort of downplaying the relevance of the Bull Moose Party. The Wilson program, the division of the Republican Party assured a Democratic victory. So Wilson's able to come into play here. This is where Wilson gets elected. Had the Republican Party not been split, that probably would have had a major influence over this election. The Democratic Party rallied behind Governor Woodrow Wilson in New Jersey. In 1912 campaign, Wilson proposed the New Freedom Program to help small businesses. Woodrow Wilson was elected president on a platform that called for tariff reduction, banking reform, and antitrust legislation. So very similar to what the progressive Republicans wanted. Okay, so it kind of split the party. So those progressive Republicans, a lot of them went ahead and voted for Wilson. Okay, they didn't stick with the Republican Party, but they also didn't go with the third party, with Roosevelt. Woodrow Wilson, there he is in 1916. 1912 president election. Here's the electoral vote distribution. Kind of see how it goes, and these maps always look different every election. They're interesting to check out. You can see Pennsylvania actually went to Theodore Roosevelt. Interesting little fact. Okay. And these review questions we're going to kind of do throughout this class today, so we're actually going to stop there, and hopefully this will help you. Now remember, you don't have to write these notes down as you're watching this video. You're going to be able to access this document from my website, so you'll have the notes right there. All right, thank you.